As we were saying, Truworths headline earnings per share increasing by 19%. That's to 331.3 cents in the 26 weeks to the end of December. Retail sales growing by 14.8% to 5.5 billion rand. Now the clothing group expects the credit environment to deteriorate further in the months ahead on the back of increasing levels of consumer indebtedness. Let's unpack this now. We've got Truworths CEO Michael Mark joining us on the line. Michael, thanks for joining us. So looking at the indicators when it comes to the health of the credit book, it appears to have deteriorated. Just talk to us about that, how you're managing that. Are you putting your foot on the brake slightly when it comes to extending credit?
Yes, we try and deal with credit as a process over time instead of an event. So what we do with credit is we restrict credit when we see that the risk in the book is getting slightly higher than we would like it to be. But we don't do it as a sudden shock to the system. We do it steadily over time. So as an example, the last 6 months, the number of applicants who were granted credit was about 35%. So 65% were rejected, whereas the equivalent 6-month period a year ago was about 60% were rejected. So it's that kind of stuff. We might give a little bit less credit. We might give less credit, new credit to customers, or new credit to existing customers. It's sort of a steady process that happens over time.
Looking at that trading margin sitting at around 29% and slipping back slightly by 0.7%, or 0.7%. Are you focused on that margin right now? Do you think that you can improve it in the next half a year, or what's your target?
No, our margin, I think it's pretty widely recognized, is either the highest or one of the highest in the world for businesses of our equivalent size. So we wouldn't be trying to improve our margin. The reason why you've seen that slight 0.7% worsening is because of the bad debt we've just spoken about.
So let's look at Africa versus South Africa right now, because, I mean, South Africa is still obviously the main bulk of your business, 96.9% to 97%, and Namibia, of course, the next biggest market. How many stores are you planning on opening up in Africa right now? What's your capital rollout when it comes to extending your footprint?
Look, by far, the expansion and the future of Truworths will be dependent on what it does within the borders of South Africa and close to its borders in Southern Africa. The expansion into further Africa, I'm talking about Angola, Ghana, Nigeria, or as you go further north, that will be a long-term progression over time. So each year we'll probably open 5 to 10 stores, maybe a bit more, who knows, depends on whether or not there's real estate available, new shopping malls being developed, other retailers like us going there. Those are all the factors, but one has to be very cautious when expanding into Africa, because it's a very different set of legal and logistical circumstances.